Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you are entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Today, I'd like to talk to you about what ETFs I'm actually looking forward to covering next year. And these are ETFs that I feel like haven't really been out for long enough to form a concrete opinion of, besides like my initial hot take. And I have my website YieldMight, and I would really love to be able to use YieldMight to help with when I'm doing comparisons between high income ETFs and comparing them to underlyings. And it's just really fascinating to me, like how much money could I get this time? How is this stock behaving over time? Because it doesn't matter if like this has the most distribution this time, if when I put my money in it, it never recovers, and then then I'm losing money. And even if the amount of the distribution is the same and the percentage keeps going up, it's not a good look. It's easier to explain what I'm doing and for people to nod along when I buy into something and then the stock goes up and to the right, and then my high income becomes even more high income. So I think the Kurv ETFs have all been out for long enough for me to form an opinion. It's just that there are so many high income ETFs that have been coming out that this has taken a back burner. And I will admit that KQQQ, when this came out, I had a different idea of what it was, and I still don't like the name of it, so I've just not been all that excited. But I do watch Oracle, and he's been talking about this. So like TSLP, like if you want to be in something that's not yield max, that has a more moderate distribution rate, but between the distributions it recovers, then Kurv could be something that we can look into next year and continue doing the comparison, because scrutinizing and understanding what you're getting into and how these are all cover call ETFs. It's just that they take their approach differently. So that's why I think I'm going to wind up doing more Kurv stuff next year. It's like kind of on my radar, but also I just noticed that their V here is like Vue.js's logo, and I like that. So that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. I just noticed that. Anyways, CEPI. I covered this when it first came out. My hot take is I like it. It makes sense to me. It's a basket of Bitcoin-related ETFs, and crypto-related, not just Bitcoin. So this makes sense to me as a holding for an income play, because it's not just Bitcoin. It's not just MicroStrategies. It has other things in here, and hopefully that means that even in the winter time, like the crypto winter, like because it has Visa and MasterCard, this isn't going to totally tank. Maybe. No promises, but I do think this is an interesting one, and the only thing we are waiting to see is like, what is the distribution rate? Is this going to be something that's in competition with a yield max, or is it something like in competition with SVOL? I don't know. It just depends on what the distribution rate winds up being. Another one that I'm hoping that does well, so that I can continue to, on my hot take, I liked FIVY more than I liked feet. But I do think this is a good idea, that having the underlying in with the high income ETF as a basket means that there's more opportunity for price appreciation, and hopefully if you have a good entry point into this stock, that like it'll be a good distribution rate. So I don't know. Nobody knows. I'm also excited that this follows an index and that it actually has a slightly lower expense ratio, so you're paying less than if you were just in the individual stock. So just putting that out there, that this is one of the least expensive yield max funds, and I'm excited about that, because you wouldn't think it, but over time these expense ratios really do eat into your profit. So anyways, XPAY is one of those where I'm interested to see how this develops. Basically, they're going to take the price from closing on December 31st, and they will tell us what the distribution is for the rest of the year. So then it's up to us to figure out if at this price point, is that what the premium that I would like to get. And I think that this ETF will be a pain to explain, but it might actually be kind of genius, because if we get the same distribution every month and we get in early, then hopefully by the end of the year the stock has been raising, so it's it's no longer a 20%, it's maybe distributing like 13% by the end of the year. But then, because the price is appreciated the next year, that 20% will be more than 20%, because your cost basis is lower. And so every year with your cost basis, like it could 3, 4, 5 years from now be something that, because you got in at a good time, your personal distribution rate is something that rivals something else that has a much bigger expense ratio. But, and to be fair, this has only been out for a few months. There's really not enough evidence to show that this does have a good price appreciation. And so I don't appreciate that this is so complicated to explain and like why it's a good idea, but I am interested to see how this plays out and whether it is a good idea or not. Same thing with something like BIGY, where it's a target 12 ETF by YieldMax, because Jay got tired of people asking him about reverse splits and all of that stuff. So this one has more price appreciation. You don't have to reinvest. So I think that this and XPAY are going to be interesting, just like in the same grouping. But I don't know. I'm not in this because I'm not sure how it plays out. And also at I think, is it really 12%? Like, if the distribution is this low, there are other things that are less risky for me to put my money in besides BIGY. So that's just my opinion. And then Roundhill's over here, and they haven't even actually come out with MSTW yet, but I am excited for it to come out. I will go into it and I will stop doing my own calls and puts on MSTU. Although, don't hold me to that promise, but basically, right now with MSTU, I can get, sorry about the option, but like I can get more premium than I would with just Misty, and I like that it is weekly, but MSTW, Roundhill does a better job of keeping our NAV stable. So it would be nice to be able to have, Misty, take the distributions from Misty, put it into MSTW, get Basically, it's a simulated option wheel strategy, and hopefully Roundhill is in the same ballpark as a Misty distribution. But if not, then we have to see about the price appreciation, all that. But it needs to come out. They really need to have the inception date, and I need the ability to be able to buy it. I feel it in my soul. And of course, there are other ones, and I bet you that when they do come out, they're coming out with TSW first, because why would any of these funds want to start with anything besides Tesla? So, but I am interested in this, and also I would probably also do Glow just so that I have Glow in my portfolio. I really do like ETFs with good names. Anyways, the next one I'm looking forward to covering and figuring out if it's a good idea is Granite Shares Yieldboost. I have been excited about this since the summer. I would be more excited about the MicroStrategy one, but it's not out yet. And even TSYY has not had its first distribution yet. But I am curious to see if the 2x leverage with the focus of generating income actually has price appreciation that is closer to if I owned the underlying, just with a bigger distribution every month. So that's what I'm hoping for this. We will need, 6 months to a year of historical data to really analyze if this is a good idea or a bad idea, or somewhere in between. It's probably, good in some circumstances and bad in other circumstances. But I just think it's one of the, well, they're all exciting in their own ways. They all have their own gimmicks. But I'm really curious to see if this works out for Granite Shares, or, if it's going to totally flop. So, yes. And then I guess we'll end this with, I was watching another Sain's video, and he is actually doing the 100K challenge. So it's at chrissain.com/100K-challenge. I have a feeling that my approach to investing is different than his, and there's nothing to say like his way is wrong, and he's been doing this for years, and there's a lot of people that follow him. But I'm not going to change my investing strategy just to get involved in this, but it was something that I came across, and now there is even more information. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up. And I will get the emails, and when I notice the emails and check my email, I'll try to cover it a little bit. I mean, I think it's his copyrighted material, so maybe I'll just comment on things that I found interesting from it. We'll see. But there was actually, when I first okay, so this is how his 100K challenge works, and this is what I was looking at on my mobile phone. That's what this pause is coming from. Basically saying, like, make sure you max out your Roth IRA first, which is responsible. Make sure you have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months, which I'm not doing. Whatever, it's fine. And then pay off your debt. Well, we're doing it during this year, next year, so that's good. Invest long term. I think this is missing punctuation, but basically invest in the S&P 500, invest in SPY or VIV or whatever. Buy 125 shares minimum of each stock. This is the part that they kind of lose me. I think he means like when he's making his calls that we just go in at 125 shares of each of these plays that he's doing. But I was under the impression that they just did a lot of option selling and stuff, so we will see. I don't think I actually have a personal goal of how many shares. I do have a personal goal of like, or at least to me it would make more sense as a high income investor. Like, I want to be making roughly the same amount of money every week, but I'm doing it by investing in my silos, because right now like 50% of my portfolio is in MSTY. So of course week 4 of, or group D of YieldMax's distributions, I get a really massive payload. So using the distributions from MSTY to pay into everything else so that it's not like a dud all month and then all of a sudden I get a bunch of money. So I think that these are good parameters to have. I wouldn't mind getting the information that he has, like how to read the stock charts or whatever. I am trying to go as long as possible without having to do any of that, but it's good to have the knowledge for when I do feel the urge to do some day trading, which hopefully I never do, but who knows. But anyways, those are the things that I would like to continue to cover next year, and hopefully I'll be able to do more comparison type videos, and we'll just keep rolling with it as we get more money. I'm also really looking forward to covering MSTY over the next 4 years, because I feel like that would be enough time to go through an entire Bitcoin cycle so that we can absolutely know what MSTY is doing. But other than that, I like, as the space evolves and we have more historical data, we'll be able to form our opinions better and to make better recommendations on what to do and shape our portfolios that way. So what are you looking forward to tracking next year? And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.